I want you to make one trade at around 3 p.m. every Friday afternoon, and you're going to thank me come Monday morning. Trading over the...
On tonight's podcast, we're talking about holding your trades longer, which in turn means making more money. And that's what we want. We want to make more money. We want to hold those winners longer. We want to capitalize on those big moves. So how do we do it? Let's get into it. So, how can we hold our trades a little bit longer? We got to start with identifying a trade, identifying the setup. What are we looking for? If we need to hold our trades a little bit longer, we need to know when to get in before we even consider, letting the trade play out for its entirety. Let's actually talk about the entry. I know there's a lot of strategies out there, so there could be a million reasons why to get into a trade or why your strategy is telling you to enter or what an A+ setup looks like. But we got to make sure that we're truly looking for those A+ setups. Everyone talks about it. It almost should be redundant at this point. Everyone talks about if you're going to be a profitable trader, you got to wait for the A+ setups. And everyone's probably like, okay, I'm waiting for the A+ setups. Is there more to it? What else do I need? And there is more. So there's so many things that come into play with we want to make more money. Yes, we want to do that. Everybody wants to do that. Who does not? Especially in the trading world. How cool that we picked a niche that is about money. It's the act of making money that's about money itself. We can talk about that one later. Okay, so if we can get in at the optimum time to get into a trade, whatever setup you have with your strategy is telling you to get into a trade, we have to make sure that we can take that optimum signal. So let me give you guys an example. Let's say that the price of platinum is retracing. We've been on a crazy move up. Let's see if we can get some retracement. If we can catch that first initial setup, the money maker, the one, if we can catch that first setup for this big reversal, we are going to be more confident and be able to capitalize on the most amount of money if we can get in on that first initial setup. Now, obviously, if we are moving into this new trend, maybe we're in a downward trend now with platinum, there's going to be multiple opportunities to get in. Yes, absolutely. But if we're working on holding our profits longer and holding our trades longer, we're talking about getting in at the optimum time, the optimum entry. And the reason this is so important is let's say that we are trying to catch a change of a trend or a reversal or this new move. The sooner we can get in, the longer we can hold this trade, the more profit we can capitalize on. So if we are just simply thinking bullish and bearish moves and which one is the trend and which one is it going to follow along for a longer amount of time, and if we can get in on that reversal as soon as possible, the first signal, the first optimum A+ signal that we get, this is going to help us truly stay in that trade for its entirety. So regardless of what time frame you're trading, we're still looking for the big moves. We're still looking for these new trends, and we're looking to get in on them as soon as possible. And then we're looking to, once that trend is over and we get a reversal in the opposite direction, we're trying to get into that as well. I can't stress this enough. Getting into the first initial position, that first initial entry is crucial. The optimum time, and I can't say it, any other way. It's optimum. We're looking for the one, that first initial move. Now you're probably going to get a lot of fake outs, and this just comes with, getting to know your instrument a little bit better. You're probably going to be getting a lot of fake out, and that's normal. That happens. You will develop a relationship with the instrument that you're trading so that you can put some things into place for, if you're trading an instrument like oil maybe, for example, and you get a lot of fake outs, you can put some things into place that will help you avoid those or will help you, minimize your risk whenever you do get into a position like that or you get into a fake out. Or maybe you'll try to avoid it altogether. Maybe you're waiting for candles to close. Maybe you're waiting for retests. So some things that we can do to help us hold our profits longer starts with the entry. Getting in at the optimum time. That first initial setup that we get on whatever reversal we're in, that first one, that's going to help us stay in for the entirety of this trade. We get the most amount of confidence because we got the earliest entry. We can talk about my accelerator where I tell students, the optimum time to get in is when there is a break of a trend. And especially when the trend line holds a lot of weight. Maybe it's got a lot of data behind it, a lot of touch points. And then waiting for the break of that helps us get into those optimum times a lot sooner. We're simply putting ourselves in position every single time for the reversal to get the best optimum entry. Now let's talk about the actual holding of the trade a little bit longer. So if we can get that excellent entry, now we're not going to get those excellent entries every time. And sometimes those entries are fake outs and they're not actually the entry for the big move. But if we can at least put ourselves in position to be ready for the big move every time, That is how I've made it. That's how I've made it in trading. And that's how I teach my trading. I simply am just trying to help you guys get in position for the big moves every time. Now, obviously, we have things in place. We've got our fire extinguishers, we've got our flour, we've got our hoods. In case worst case scenario happens and there's a fire, aka we're losing our money, we have stop losses in place. We have everything in place for if this isn't the big move. If this isn't the one, then we're simply paying our fee, we're taking our loss. But we put ourselves in position for the big moves every time, and it's the coolest freaking thing ever. Because when it is the move, we were the first ones in. Like, how cool? Anyways, so let's talk about now how we can reap the benefits of actually holding. We'll say we've done the first thing. We've done what we needed to do, take the optimal entry, and we did. Now, how do we hold that trade for its entirety? How do we know how long this move is going to happen for? Now, depending on what time frame you're in, it could be the 5-minute time frame, it could be the 4-hour time frame, it could be the 1-hour time frame. This, I guess, will only apply to my specific strategy, but I'm sure you guys could probably kind of plug and play here with your own strategies. But if I'm in the 5-minute time frame, I'm drawing my trend lines on the 5-minute. Or if I'm in the 1-hour, I'm drawing my trend lines in the 1-hour. If I'm in the 4-hour, I'm drawing my trend lines in the 4-hour. And I'm trying to stay in that position for the entirety of the trend. As long as price follows along that trend line, or follows along that direction, follows along that trend, I'm staying in. Now, that is so much easier said than done. That is so much easier said than done. I have struggled with that for most of this year. Now, there are many reasons why. I'm playing with bigger position sizes now. Now I have the capital to do so, but it's kind of exposure therapy. I'm seeing these bigger numbers that I'm not used to, and I'm more inclined to take the money, take it off the table, instead of actually let the trade play out, which if I could even do that, even my own trading would be insane this year. So just imagine if you could apply the same thing to your strategy or to your trading. So if we could stay in the trade for its entirety, so let's say we've already mastered the entry, we've put ourselves in position for the big move, we got it, cool. That's best case scenario. Now, how do we stay in? Now, these are some things that I have done to help me stay in these trades a little bit longer. But the first thing, you guys, is just a matter of practicing. Why does that sound so vague? It is practicing holding your profits a little bit longer. Maybe you're comfortable with $500. Maybe you're comfortable with $100. Let's say that you got into a trade and you got the perfect entry, the most optimum entry you could get, and then you'd be happy with $100. Let's say that $100 rolls around. You are up $100, the price is still continuing in your direction, and you're usually inclined to taking that $100. But let's just practice waiting for 110, 120, 150. Then let's take it off the table. Let's at least kind of get used to seeing those bigger numbers. A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Now, it's taken me years to do that. I used to be happy with $100 trades. Absolutely. I used to be happy with $500 trades. Absolutely. Then I used to be happy with $1,000 trades. Those $1,000 trades, I was happy for those for a long time. When I got those, I was like, oh my God, yes, take it off the table. Amazing. $1,000, yes. Now I'm trying to hold for $30,000. Oh, I can't wait until I hit my $50,000 trade. That's going to be insane. And the craziest part is this year, I had the opportunity to be in trades like that, but here's the thing, I was happy with 30. I took it off the table. Whereas if I could have just held that trade for its entirety, probably would have hit that goal by now. But that's neither here nor there. You're used to $100. Let's hold for 120. You're used to $1,000. Let's hold to 1,500. But if you're used to those dollar amounts, let's just hold for a little bit more each time. A little bit more. You'll start to get more comfortable with those bigger numbers. Now, the next thing, if you find yourself looking at the dollar amounts and making your decisions on trading based on the dollar amounts, why don't we just take the dollar amounts away? Now, obviously, this too is easier said than done, and I've been doing this for so long that even if I change the dollar amounts to ticks or percentages or pips or shares, I can still calculate the amount that I'm up. I think it's best to, if you're someone like me who does that as well, let's just take the position tool off, or let's just take the open position off the screen so that you can just see an arrow of your entry. Now, obviously, you've calculated your risk beforehand, disclaimer. Let's go ahead and just take our open profit and loss off the table, off the charts, whether that be percentages or ticks or dollar amounts. Let's just take it all off the table. Let's simply look at the trade for what it is. The arrow, the entry, whatever symbol you're going to get when you place that trade, let's leave that there. No dollar amounts are involved. Now let's simply just wait for the trade to play out, and then when you get that signal to take your profits and to close your position, which mine will usually be when price is no longer trending in that direction, all right, then we take our profits. Yes, that's easier said than done, and maybe we can just start with simply changing it to ticks or changing it to percentages. Try try that first. And then if that's still not working for you, let's just remove it altogether. That's been the best case scenario for me. So that every time I open up my charts or every time I open up my trade, I see my entry and I see where the price is at right now. And it's not telling me to close my trade, so I'm good. Okay, and the last thing is having trust in the strategy. If you have decided to commit to a strategy, which I believe is absolutely necessary, you have got to commit to a strategy. This strategy hopping thing, guys, has got to quit. It's an epidemic. Is that even the correct vocabulary? It is the epitome of traders who cannot make it because they strategy hop. If I could just urge you to do one thing outside of even holding your profits longer, please commit to a strategy. Commit. Guys, this is not a relationship video, but if you guys could commit to a strategy and have full faith in it, that's going to help you. It's so easy to stay into a trade that you have full faith or full confidence in the strategy. It's so easy. You're like, yes, I know when the strategy tells me to enter, and I know when it tells me to exit. That right there alone in itself will help you stay in trades much longer. The confidence in the strategy. Now everyone gets a little bit freaked out. They're like, I'm not sure. There's many things that could come into play, but if we could have confidence in our trading and in our strategy, that absolutely will result in hold time for profits to be a lot longer. And that's the goal here, is to hold our profits longer. Say it with me, hold our profits longer. Dora here. Come on, Vamonos, let's hold our trades longer, okay? That's the name of the game. To be honest, I feel like I can give so much credit to that. So, the confidence in the strategy is going to help you stay in those trades a lot longer. And what it's also going to help you avoid doing is micromanaging your trade, constantly looking at it, seeing where it's at. If you're in those higher time frames and you just keep picking up your phone, opening up your laptop, checking your trade 100 times, obsessing, having the confidence in the system and the strategy is going to give you that peace of mind knowing that, okay, I've got everything in place if this doesn't work out, but if it does, I've got everything in place as well. So yes, it puts you in position to hold those trades a lot longer, but it also will keep you from micromanaging your trades. So let's review. What can we do today to help us start holding our profits longer? The first thing is making sure we're getting the first, best, initial, optimum entry. The second thing is removing the dollar amounts. Let's truly trust the system and trust the strategy. Let's remove the dollar amounts and stay in for the trade for its entirety. And then the last thing, having confidence in the strategy. If you trust your system, you will truly be able to hold for longer. So these are the tips that I have for you guys for holding your profits a lot longer or even a little bit longer. We're all working on it. But thank you guys for tuning in tonight or today, wherever you're at. If you experience some of the same things or maybe there's some other things that you're struggling with, drop it in the comments below. And don't forget to hit the like button and turn the bell on for notifications. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys on the next video. On tonight's podcast, we're talking about holding your trades longer, which in turn means making more money. And that's what we want. We want to make more money. We want to hold those winners longer. We want to capitalize on those big moves. So how do we do it? Let's get into it. So, how can we hold our trades a little bit longer? We got to start with identifying a trade, identifying the setup. What are we looking for? If we need to hold our trades a little bit longer, we need to know when to get in before we even consider, letting the trade play out for its entirety. Let's actually talk about the entry. I know there's a lot of strategies out there, so there could be a million reasons